Ok, bonjour, bienvenue. Bonjour, bonjour. Aujourd'hui, c'est le mercredi 10 mars. Donc, les objectifs pour aujourd'hui, c'est vraiment pouvoir s'exprimer avec le passé composé. Donc, commencer à utiliser je suis allé, l'expression je suis allé. Donc, on va commencer par l'échauffement. Ok, donc l'expression je suis allé. Et puis mes vacances, on va parler de deux textes, okay? Deux textes en français, puis pour demain. Ok, donc pour l'échauffement, ce week-end, je vous ai demandé de trouver un pays où on parle français. Je vous ai donné une carte avec les pays où on parle français et je vous ai dit, ok, trouvez un pays où on parle français et une activité que tu fais. Donc, s'il vous plaît, dans le chat, quel était le pays où tu es allé et puis qu'est-ce que tu as fait. Donc, dans le chat, je vais le mettre dans le chat. OK, je vous ai demandé de trouver un pays et une activité. Donc, s'il vous plaît, dans le chat. Donc, par exemple, moi, je suis allé au Maroc. Je suis allé au Maroc. And if you want to put it in the chat, what do you think I'm talking about when I said je suis allé au Maroc? Which country do you think I picked? Okay, je suis allé au Maroc. Je suis allé à Marrakech, où j'ai exploré la Médina, la vieille ville. Donc, j'ai exploré la Médina à Marrakech. Okay. Ou bien, je suis allé à Tahiti, où j'ai fait du surf. Donc, voilà deux exemples. OK, donc nous avons cette expression « je suis allé ». Donc, je suis allé au Madagascar. Super. Il y a deux personnes qui sont allées au Madagascar. Une personne a vu les fleurs à Madagascar. Les fleurs. Les fleurs. Et une personne a nagé. A nagé. OK? À Madagascar. OK, donc, je suis allé. Je suis allé. So I would love for this, for you to practice at home. And then I'm going to go through and ask each of you to practice saying it, okay? For a place that, well, we'll talk about what it means. So take a look at these next few sentences that I'm going to go through with you and try to figure out what does that mean, je suis allé, okay? And if you can figure it out, you can put it in the chat. Je suis allé. Moi, je ne suis jamais allé en Chine. C'est triste. Je veux aller en Chine. Je voudrais voyager en Chine. Mais je ne suis jamais allé en Chine. Je suis allé au Kentucky, à la Louisiane, mais je ne suis jamais allé à New York. Je ne suis jamais allé à New York. C'est triste. Je suis allé à Ensenada, dans la Baja California. Je suis allé à Ensenada, mais je ne suis jamais allé à Oaxaca. Je veux aller à Oaxaca. Il y a des masques à Oaxaca. Ça, c'est un masque que j'ai fait, mais il y a des masques excellents à Oaxaca que je veux voir. Donc, je suis allé à Ensenada, mais je ne suis jamais allé à Oaxaca. C'est triste. Oups. Et toi, où es-tu allé? OK? Et toi, où es-tu allé? Où es-tu allé? Donc, par exemple, je suis allé, je ne suis jamais allé. And what I'd love is I'll go through and I'll ask folks to talk about, to answer one of these, to say je suis allé and then finish that sentence, or je ne suis jamais allé and finish that sentence. And together we're going to try to figure out what that means, okay? So I'll go through and I'll ask y'all to unmute. And you can put it in the chat if you prefer. Je suis allé, and we're following it up with what? A place, yeah, a place. And then je ne suis jamais allé, there too, we're also talking about a place. So who can guess what we're saying here? Yeah. Exactly, exactly, good guess. Yeah, je ne suis jamais allé, I have never been to, I have never gone to. Donc moi, je ne suis jamais allé à Oaxaca, c'est triste. Je ne suis jamais allé en Chine, c'est triste, ok? Hein? Ok? Ouais, super. Huh? So I want to encourage you all, as we start getting more and more familiar with this unit, to use these expressions as kind of expressions that you can use to say, oh, where have you been? Where have you not been? All right? Ouais, super. Ok, donc mes vacances. So this is an activity we'll start today and that will continue tomorrow. Mes vacances. Okay. So I'm going to share two texts with you in French. Okay. You're going to be reading in French, which is really exciting. That might sound a little intimidating to you all right now, but you can do it. I know you can do it. Okay. So first, I'm going to ask you to listen as I read the text aloud. And then take a moment to read the text once or twice on your own. Okay, I'll be leaving them up. You can take a screen cap if you want. More power to you. And I want to encourage you to avoid looking up words. I want to encourage you to try to see what you can understand. Not because I'm evil and trying to make you frustrated and sad, but because I want to see how much you can understand just from the words that are there. I wrote these texts and I was thinking, okay, with the different clues and stuff, you should be able to get most of it. Maybe not 100%, maybe 100% if you're a superstar, but you should be able to understand about 60, 70, maybe even 80% of these texts. So have confidence in yourself. And then what I'd like you to do is to reflect. What is this text about? And I'll ask you a really specific question in Canvas tomorrow as we continue working on this. What is this text about? And then analyze, when did the events in this text happen? Okay, and I'll put a couple questions in the chat to kind of get you going with number 3 especially. Okay, number 3, I'll give you a question in the chat. So tomorrow we'll revisit these texts and you'll answer these questions more in Canvas, like some more questions kind of like this. We'll go a little bit more in depth in Canvas, okay? All right, so what is the text about? I'm going to put a question in the chat. Don't answer it just yet, right? Give yourself a moment. And there are 2 texts. There's text A and text B. What is this text about? Is it like an advertisement? B, a story? Or C, history, like US history? Okay, so what I'll do is I'll put that in the chat, and then as you reflect, you can answer at your own pace, A, B, or C, okay? And we'll do this again in Canvas tomorrow, so. Okay. Hop. Ok, donc texte A. Texte A. Avant la pandémie, ma famille et moi sommes allés en vacances à Chicago. Nous nous sommes perdus. car la ville est gigantesque. Nous avons vu beaucoup de monde dans la ville. Nous avons visité Cloudgate, Sears Tower et le musée Art Institute of Chicago. J'ai plutôt aimé la Magnificent Mile et Millennium Park. Donc voilà texte A. Okay, so if you'd like, you can take a screen cap of that text. I am going to let you read that a little bit. Awesome. So students were making really good, y'all were making really good use of strategies, looking at words that you recognized and then using that to kind of get a sense of what the text is talking about and using things like, oh, well, it looks like pandemic. And so thinking about, oh, well, what I know about the pandemic is it's still happening. So it's probably before. It's not after because it's still happening and we don't take a lot of trips during it. And then using words like ma famille and vacances, right? Like you recognize, you know, these words to kind of put pieces together. Awesome. Let's start the same work with text B. Let's look at text B. And again, we'll continue this work tomorrow. And I'll have an assignment for you all to do on Canvas tomorrow. Okay. L'été dernier. So again, we're going to listen. I'm going to read it so y'all can get that sweet, sweet French. And then I'll give you all a moment to read it silently. Okay, and then I would love to hear answers to the last two questions. When did this take place? Or what kind of text is this? An advertisement, a story, or US history? And then when did this take place? But we can finish that discussion tomorrow if we run out of time, because we may. Okay. L'été dernier, ma famille et moi, nous sommes allés en vacances à l'île Washington, dans le Wisconsin. Nous sommes restés dans une cabane au bord du lac. Là, nous avons nagé, nous avons fait des randonnées, nous avons pêché. J'aime beaucoup aller à l'île Washington. Okay, so take a moment to read it again yourself and try to put things together. What kind of text is this? Is this an advertisement, a story, or is it US history? And then when is this happening? Cool, we got some really great answers for that 1 second reading. And we'll go into these readings again tomorrow, and we'll go a little bit more in depth with our work, kind of interpreting it and trying to figure out what's happening here. But great work. So for tomorrow, that's what we're gonna do. So I'm gonna go ahead and stop the recording, and then we'll hop into Wildcat Advisory.